Alzheimer's, named for the doctor who discovered it in 1906, conjures a terrifying image of memory loss and mental decline. Now, for the first time, the future holds promise, according to Susan Ankowiak of the Alzheimer's Association.
We've had tremendous advancements in detection and diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. We also have advances in treatments for the first time in our history. We have the opportunity to actually utilize medication to slow the progression for Alzheimer's disease for people with mild symptoms.
One of those people is Adam Howitt of Wrentham. The native of England was living the American dream in New England with a loving wife, 2 sets of twins, and a lucrative career at Google. But just before his 50th birthday, life took an unexpected turn.
I realized that I couldn't tie my tie, and I've always tied my tie.
Soon, Adam began struggling with his handwriting and word recall, as well as keeping track of his kids' schedules. Adam says the troubles persisted, resulting in his departure from his job. And then, when applying for new positions, he struggled to focus during interviews.
And then I went to my PCP and said, I'm wondering if there's anything going on that you can check. And he goes, we need to get you to a neurologist. And that's when Dr. Butler came in.
Dr. Monroe Butler practices neurology at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
There's been increased awareness about Alzheimer's as a disease, and our biomarkers, or the tests we have that are specific to Alzheimer's, have really advanced in the last 10 years.
After Adam underwent a round of tests, the results were swift and surprising.
He literally called me 2 hours later and said, I think you need to come home. He thinks I have early onset Alzheimer's.
So you've had all of these symptoms, you're not sure what they are, you're in the doctor's office, and you finally get this diagnosis. How did that feel? What was your reaction at that moment?
I went into the bathroom and just cried because I was so relieved that I have a diagnosis and not just like wondering what else could I be doing, you know?
So Melissa, after you learn of the diagnosis, what's your reaction?
I'll get emotional talking about it, but I mean, I think it was shock. I mean, it's devastation, you know, just not knowing what that means. We have young kids, and how do we tell them? What does that mean for us? You know, kind of everything starts to kind of flash ahead of what I imagine their life to be, and knowing that it's very different.
The Alzheimer's Association estimates that nearly 200,000 Americans are living with early onset Alzheimer's, which affects people between the ages of 30 and 64. But as Adam's diagnosis emerged, so did a new treatment.
So lecanemab is a humanized antibody, but these have been developed in the lab and are specific for the beta amyloid plaques in the brain. So lecanemab involves getting hour-long infusions every 2 weeks for at least a year. This has a mechanism that goes to the brain, dissolves the plaque, and lowers the overall burden of disease.
You're on lecanemab. Are you noticing its effects? How are you feeling?
When I was diagnosed, I had 80% of the brain had amyloid plaques. Half of the plaques appear to have been removed.
It is a trend that has left those in the medical field encouraged.
I would liken where we're at today to be something like the mid-1980s was for AIDS, where we learned about this disease and everyone with HIV, right, would progress. And now with the triple therapy targeting the different biological pathways, we're able to keep the virus at bay and patients don't develop AIDS.
Butler notes there are 185 clinical trials ongoing for Alzheimer's, and more dominoes need to fall in developing a potential cure. But for now,
I am hopeful that this first step is going to be quickly followed by more breakthroughs in the AD space.
And for Adam and Melissa, a positive diagnosis for Alzheimer's has been countered by a positive outlook on life.
One thing that I've always said about Adam He's an incredibly optimistic person, always. He's never one to just sit and sort of mope or complain.
I do tell everybody that I have Alzheimer's when I meet them. I started that because I thought I didn't want people to think I was like an idiot. If I can't say a word or something, just give me some patience.
Oh, okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that he's getting ahead of things. And as you saw, Adam is responding very well to treatment. In fact, the Howitts recently got back from a trip to Paris where they said it was wonderful.
They love traveling. They had a great trip. Good for them. And a lot of information out there on lecanemab, one of the medications being used. More information about that on our website. But there are other FDA-approved treatments for Alzheimer's, and more are coming down the pike. If you're looking for information on that, best to talk with your doctor or with the Alzheimer's Association for more info.